made it nice for her. Oh. Why have you brought all this stuff out of the car, Cedric? We're not giving our Italian lecture tonight.
What's today?
Tuesday, and this is our Italian stuff. We don't want these 2 boxes. That's our lecture on Sicily, land of lemons.
That's right.
Oh, do get with it, dear. This is an historical society, and we're giving them our distant islands lecture.
Well, I don't know. Last week in Wolverhampton, our Crusader castles were Spain. A week before in Bolton doing distant islands.
And that's what we're doing tonight. Look at all this stuff you've dragged out. Forgotten volcanoes. You're getting even more forgetful.
No, right. I'm with you now.
Right. Now look.
Distant islands.
Take that back, and that, and that. And we don't want 3 boxes of slides on Dubrovnik, Guardian of the Balkans. We haven't done that since 1965.
No, right, fair dues. I'm in the picture now.
Mrs. Wellbeloved. Welcome to our historical society. I'm Monica Digby, the secretary.
Oh,
so sorry about this.
Cedric Wellbeloved, my husband.
Well, you can't shake anything, can you? Jolly good. No, well, I must say, Mr. Wellbeloved, we are all looking forward to your lecture tonight. By all accounts, it's absolutely grand. Now, we're pretty well organised.
It's a most attractive hall, Mrs. Digby. Lovely decor.
Well, I'm a bit behind sticking up my greenery, but I'll get there. I think we can promise you a most appreciative audience. Now, you're going to leave your equipment here and check in at the hotel, are you?
You've booked us in the Plough Hotel, I understand.
Yes, I think you'll find it's very comfortable, and they do a smashing treacle tart, as I know to my cost. Jolly good. Yes, well, now, I imagine that you'd like to set up your projector about here. You said on the telephone that your husband prefers not to speak over the sound of the projector.
Yes, I'd prefer...
Just take those things back to the car, Cedric.
That we slide this door across. Come, sir. Bring the other one in to meet it. You project your slides through the glass window, thus making it soundproof in here.
An ideal arrangement, Mrs. Digby.
Jolly good. That's what we'd like to hear. Now, you said in your billy-do that you'd like us to find someone to help you in the first part of your programme to change your slides.
Well, if that would be possible. Otherwise I get a pause.
Oh, no, we don't want that, do we? No, I've got one of the husbands of one of our lady members coming along, and he's frightfully good with his hands. He's a stone carver. Fantastically physical. Wonderful shoulders. Just what you need.
Cedric, we'll have the lectern up on the stage and the projector stand about here.
Could I do it a little later, Norma? My back is playing me up.
Oh, my dear Mr. Wellbeloved, no. You let us attend to all that. I've got this gentleman coming who's so frightfully strong.
Really?
Oh, yes, indeed. Yes, he'll attend to everything for you. Now, you go and rest. After all, you're the star of the evening.
Yes, well, it's my old war wound. When I was in bombers, it twinges every now and then.
Oh, quite. You mustn't exhaust yourself. Now, what do you require done?
Well, if you could put the screen up on the stage.
Yes.
And then run this cable... this cable from the projector to the lectern. Yes. Then, when I press the button, the little orange light goes on, and my wife changes to the next slide.
Well, that sounds simple enough. Right, off you go. Rest your back. Leave it all with me.
Oh, very kind. I just leave it all here, then?
Yes, that's right. We get slides for the first half, interval for tea, and then a moving picture for the second half, right?
Then I invite questions, and we close around 10.
Couldn't be cosier. Jolly good, yes. Well, now, I must get on with my greenery. So, I'll expect you both back here at about 7:45, right?
Yes, indeed. But perhaps we could settle the remuneration now, Mrs. Digby. Save the bother later.
The fee, yes, of course. Now, £30 in cash, I think you said. What about that?
Well, we're not registered for VAT at the moment. Just the cash would be lovely.
There you are, Mrs. Wellbeloved. All present and correct, I think. I'm afraid it's all in ones.
Lovely. A little bulky, but no matter. Well, your society will be paying our hotel expenses for just the one night, of course.
All taken care of, Mrs. Wellbeloved.
Right, well, thank you.
Yes, well, I must get weaving on my greenery.
Since when has your back been playing you up?
I had a little twinge around 5:30.
Because it's opening time. You've just had a quick one, haven't you?
My dear Norma, when you take that accusing tone, it doesn't enhance your features one jot.
And that mouthwash you squirt in your mouth doesn't enhance your features. I don't know why you do it. It doesn't fool me. All I get is the smell of a large whiskey and violets. Not an attractive combination.
You're being very waspish with me today, Norma. I'm getting old, my mind is going, and now my breath smells.
Evening, Monica.
Evening, Edna.
They've arrived, then. I thought it was them driving off in that van.
Yes, Mr. Well-Beloved had a slight twinge in his back, so I said your lovely husband might be kind enough to arrange some of the equipment.
Yes, I'll tell him. He's just getting my plates from the car.
It really is exceedingly kind of him to offer his services tonight.
Oh, he didn't offer. Told him he had to come.
Oh, even so, it's very nice.
He didn't want to come at all. He said he was in the middle of his greatest work and he had to finish. I said, Jack. I thought, here we go, another up and a downer, but I didn't care. I said, Jack, you promised. I haven't asked you to do anything for me in 20 years of marriage. All I'm asking now is 2 hours of your time to help the Historical Society. He said, listen, he said,
shut up, will you? I'm here. What more do you want? Where's this lot go?
I'll take him, Jack.
Oh, Mr. Sulgrave, what an honour to have you here with us tonight. Jolly good of you to give us a helping hand.
Yeah, well, I'm only here because I'd get a lot of aggro if I wasn't.
Well, whatever the reason. Oh, and what are you creating at the moment? Another masterpiece, I don't doubt.
I'm just finishing a piece of work made out of old iron for an exhibition in October, running figure.
Oh, wonderful. Jolly good.
You know, you have wonderful hips, Mrs. Digby.
Oh, I have.
Your hips are not my area, but Rodin would have loved your hips.
Really?
Put your weight on one hip. No, let it drop. Yeah. Rodin would have gone a bundle on your hips. They look so fertile, so prolific, full of fecundity, your hips.
Oh, well, thank you.
What do I do here, then? Edna said I had to come along because you couldn't find a reliable man to call on.
Alas, how true. I'm very short of reliable men, I'm afraid. The Historical Society is very female-orientated. I've only called on you in extreme emergency.
Yeah, well, I like women calling on me in an emergency. Right, what's to be done then?
Well, now, if you could set up the projector here so that we can pull the door across and then shine the slides through the glass window.
To make it soundproof. Yes, right, I get it.
And then Mr. Well-Beloved would like that cable with the light on the end of it run from the lectern to the projector, some sort of signal, I believe.
So that they know when to change the slides. Yeah, right, leave it all to me.
You've made the place very appealing, Monica.
Well, I thought I'd better make an effort, as it's the first of our summer lectures. What's in the bucket, Edna?
Just a little sample of my own culture.
Oh, yes, we're having some of your yoghurt
For
tonight.
those that fancy it, I might get a few converts.
Edna, is it the same culture as the one you gave us in April for the biggest leek contest? There was all that dysentery.
Wasn't my yoghurt did that.
No, but
it was the leeks did that, and it wasn't dysentery, it was enteritis. Leeks are well known for it, and they were exceptionally large ones this
Well,
year.
I think I'll give it a miss. I'm a little old for these upsets.
It wasn't my yoghurt did that, Monica. I've told you that before. How could
No.
it be my yoghurt? My yoghurt is made by me from my own goats. You couldn't have it purer.
Yeah, right.
Yes, well, I'm sure it's very health-giving, nutritious, but it's a little strong for my tum.
I admit my yoghurt is an acquired taste, but if you had my yoghurt for a whole week, nothing else but my yoghurt, that hot rash you get up your legs will be gone forever.
I think I'll keep my hot legs, if I may. Oh, yes. Oh, you have done it well, Mr. Sulgrave. Most professional.
Mrs. Digby, darling, would you go up on the stage and stand behind the lectern?
Yes, certainly.
Now, there's a pair switch hanging from the lectern. Would you press the tick on the end?
Jack.
Is the proper electrical expression?
I do apologise, Monica.
It's quite all right. I just can't find it. Ah, here we are. Now, I press this bit at the end.
If you'd be so kind. Ah, that's fine. You pressed it very nicely.
Thank you.
You may stand down.
Thank you.
Such marvellous hips.
Jolly good.
Well, do you have to wait here all night then?
Just for 2 hours.
I've got to listen to that bloke's guff for 2 hours.
I know this lecture is of no interest to you, Jack, but it does interest me. Particularly as I'll never be going there, as you can't stand going abroad. But I want to know how the other half lives, and I'm extremely interested in the ancient Greeks. I don't ask you to be. All I ask is 2 hours of your time as a personal favour to me.
Yeah, all right. Well, it's 7:45. I'm ready. Where are they?
Jack, if you're going to be bad-tempered and po-faced, I'd rather you went back to the studio and go on with your running figure. You don't have to do anything for me, Jack. The last thing I want is for you to be concerned about me and my little suburban interests.
Yeah, well, actually, I don't have to listen to them, do I? I mean, I'll be on this side of the doors. You'll be on the other. Yeah, that's fine. I didn't think of that.
When have I asked you to do anything for me, eh? When? For 5 years I've been coming to the Historical Society meetings once a week, and not once have I bothered you.
Yeah, OK, don't go off with your fourth act aria.
But tonight, for the first time in 5 years, I ask you to give 2 hours of your time to help the lecturer's wife change the slides.
Look, I'm very happy now I know I don't have to listen to all that Greek bullshit about wine dark sea and time standing still and chase me twice round the Acropolis. I'm very happy now.
I know my little pursuits, my little interests have never been important to you, and you're right. They're not important. I'm not important. I know I have no talent.
For Christ's sakes, I'm here, aren't I? I've set up all this bloke's gear, and I'm going to help his wife project the slide. Now, what more do you want? Blood?
I have devoted my every waking thought to your welfare. I know you're a genius. Well, you must be. Everybody keeps telling me it's right and proper that I should be servile to you, as I am.
How long does this change of heart go on for?
Night and day, for 20 years. Is he warm in that studio? Has he got everything he needs? Is he happy? Is he sad? Is he constipated? Make sure he doesn't drink too much. Make sure he has regular meals. Give him tea. Give him coffee.
Don't that barge, lift that bale, get a little drunk and
For
you'll land
20
in jail.
years.
Oh,
I know you
river.
didn't want to come here tonight. I know I dragged you along.
Rolling,
But now
he
you are
keeps
here.
on
I'd be very
rolling.
grateful if you look a bit
He
pleased
keeps
and not
on
embarrass me in
rolling,
front of
he
my fellow
keeps
members
on
of
rolling, he
this
keeps on rolling along. All right, I shall be happy and charming to everyone.
You selfish, bald-headed twit.
Well, you sound very happy in your work, Mr. Salgrave.
Yes, indeed. Well, what time are our much-travelled lecturers arriving?
Oh, any moment now. It is 7:45, isn't it?
Yeah, just on. Yes. Where's your audience?
The Historical Society always arrives in a rush at the last moment. Oh,
Nobody taking a ticket?
good evening, Mrs. Tozer. Yes, Mr. Wally should be on door duty. Now, where's he got to?
I came early. I want to get a good seat.
Well, it should be all right tonight, Mrs. Tozer. You've got 60 to choose from. You won't have to sit on my lap.
There's that wee Mr. Salgrave. What are you doing here? I've never seen you here before at any of our little meetings.
Yeah, well, I'm the handyman for tonight.
Oh, good. Very empty looking, isn't it? It starts in 15 minutes. Going to be another of your failures, Mrs. Digby. But I do hope it's going to be better than that last one you organised when we had that bearded bloke here talking to us about baloney and what's it? Well, I say ours. It was only me and the audience. Let's see. Oh, I don't want to get too close. If I have to look up at it, my rheumatism will start. If I get too far back, well, I won't be able to see anything.
Where's your new coat, then?
What new coat?
The money I paid you for the last sitting. You said you were going to buy yourself a new coat.
Oh, I will. When my son comes up and takes me to London. This will do me nicely. If I get bored, I'll be able to nod off and nobody will notice.
Do you want a cup of tea, darling?
Yeah, that'll be lovely.
Not very good, is it?
At the moment, there is a small but eager audience of one, Mrs. Tozer. Oh, evening.
It is. You know what all this is, don't you?
Hey?
It's that bloody judo class we got coming in here. I told that instructor, that Japanese bloke. I said, never mind all this kung fu stuff. What about clearing your mattresses away before you leave? You can't get through to him. He just smiles and bows. Leaves me to do all that clearing up. And all the thumping rubbish they throw about.
Yeah, and all the people they throw about, too. No, I sympathise. It's a very untidy sport.
Mr. Wally, my members are arriving. I wondered where you were.
I said 10 to, Mrs. Digby. I'm not supposed to be here at all tonight. I'm only doing it as a favour for the vicar.
Yes. It's very kind of you. Mr. Wally, I don't want you to admit anyone without a ticket. I expect this to be a very popular lecture. There may well be gate crushers. Now, this is rather loud. Good evening. Now, everything is ready. We're all prepared for you. Everything is ready for your projection at the rear.
But only 5 people.
Oh, It does look a little sparse at the moment, but everyone will suddenly arrive in an avalanche at the last moment. They always do. You mark my words. You see? What did I say? Good evening, ladies. Good evening. Mr.
Norma, have you got my lecture notes somewhere?
Here you are. Distant Islands.
Yes, I do know.
At least I shall be doing Distant Islands my end. You'll probably be doing Upper Highlands your
I've
end.
only had 2 drinks since lunchtime.
Mr. Well-beloved, would you take your place on the podium?
On the what? Oh, yes.
Your gentleman helper didn't have any difficulty, I hope, Mrs. Digby.
No, all plain sailing. I want to introduce you to one of the most valued members of our little band, Mrs. Sulgrave. This is Mrs. Well-beloved.
Good evening. I'm very pleased to meet you.
Good evening.
I'm really looking forward to your husband's lecture. I feel a great affinity with the early Greeks.
Well, I hope we don't disappoint you.
It's Mrs. Sulgrave's husband who's very kindly offered to help this evening. Now, where is he? Mr. Sulgrave, this is Mrs. Well-beloved, who is going to need a little assistance this evening. And Mrs. Well-beloved, Mr. Jack Sulgrave.
Good God.
If you think you recognize him, if you think his face is vaguely familiar, you are quite right. But Mr. Sulgrave is not only the famous sculptor, he's also a member of our little community here, and he's very kindly offered his services tonight.
It must be 20 years.
21?
21.
We said goodbye to each other in March 1953 on the station at Hammersmith Underground.
What?
This is Norma, Edna, the Norma.
No. Are you the Norma?
Well, I am a Norma.
Yeah, Norma Simpson, as was.
Norma Simpson, yes, of course you were engaged to Jack.
Well, only for 5 days in 1953.
Oh, I say. I often wondered what you looked like. He often used to talk about you.
Well, I can't think why. I was never anybody very important in his life, just one of those brief youthful things, weren't we?
I'm marvellous seeing you again, Norma. You've met my wife, Edna, haven't you?
Yeah, just.
Well, this is a turn up for the book. I am glad you dragged me down here tonight, Edna.
Oh, good.
Excuse me interrupting, but I think your husband's flashing.
Oh, yes, of course.
Well. Norma Simpson, what a lovely surprise.
Yeah, it is. Where are the slides? Oh, no, that's the second lot. I don't know where I am.
I think he's only testing.
Right, there we are. Now, if you could just tell my husband I'm all ready to go this end, we can begin.
Right. I'll get the ball rolling then, shall I? You're going to sit next to me, aren't you?
Yes, just coming. I'll see you later, Jack. I hope you have a nice chat about old times.
Yeah, right.
You've arranged it very well.
Yeah, I tested it so that the light hits the screen right in the middle.
Yeah, I can see it. It's perfect. Normally Cedric does it himself, but he was, tied up.
What do I do then?
Well, if you go that side and, if you could feed your slides in from that tray, they're in order, and when I push through, you remove and replace.
I see. Then what happens?
What happens?
Yeah.
Well, my husband gives an opening introductory talk, and then he flashes me for the first slide, and then he flashes me for the next, and I can't believe it.
Nor can I.
I mean, I knew you lived in a little village up here, but I never knew it was. Look, when I walked in and you turned round.
Yeah, well, when I turned round and I saw you
it.
looking at me, it was just the way you looked at me on that platform at Hammersmith in 1953. The same woman.
No, not quite 21 years
No,
older.
you're still little Norma Simpson of 27 Ackland Road, Shepherd's Bush.
Oh, 47.
Yeah, 47.
Oh, Jack, this is the most wonderful day I've ever had. I never thought we'd meet again, and if we did, I thought you'd be very grand, but you're not. You're just the same. Oh, Jack, this is the happiest day I've had for 21 years.
Norma, don't.
No, it's a happy state, because you still like me. I can tell you do. Oh, Jack, I don't know whether I'm on my head or my heels. All set, Mr. Well-beloved.
Just a few minor adjustments. All set now, so you fire away.
Good evening, fellow members. Welcome to the first of the summer lectures of the Historical Society, and an especial welcome to those who are guests and have come here out of interest. Now, details of our current activities can be found on the literature on your seats. And in particular, there is a very fascinating account of our work at the site of King Ethelred the Unready's castle, just outside the town. Now, this evening it gives me very great pleasure to welcome our speaker, a very well-known traveller and historian, who is going to speak on a subject which I know is dear to many of our hearts, the Greek islands. And by means of slides and a moving picture, he is going to tell us something of the history of the people who lived there over 2,000 years ago. So, I ask you to give a very warm welcome to Mr. Cedric Well-beloved and his lecture for tonight, Distant Islands.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Digby. First of all, may I say what an enormous pleasure it gives me to be back once again in this historic part of the country. What a wealth of antiquity you have here. There is history in your every lane, memories of the past in your every byway, reminders of great battles in your every alley. You are steeped in history. An envious place to live. To a person such as myself, who cares more about those who came before than those who come after. Alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, the first 5 letters of the Greek alphabet. How evocative they sound. Greece, the birthplace of our tongue. Lights. Greece, the cradle of our civilization. Well, the baby would certainly have fallen out of that cradle. So sorry, slight technical hitch backstage. The Acropolis, of course. Indisputably the most famous of all the monuments of ancient Greece, the Acropolis of Athens has stood unchanged for the last 2,500 years. Empires have risen and fallen all around it, but the Acropolis has remained solid, unshakable, unmovable for the last 25 centuries. What I should... What I should like to try and tell you this evening is how it all began and how today it is still going on. The name of Greece was once the name of a tribe that settled in Italy some 800 years before Julius Caesar. Can we imagine that time?
21 years, and I never thought we'd meet again, and if I did, I never thought you'd be so lovely.
We mere humans, with our small span, can we possibly encompass with our imaginations that time, some 2,500 years ago, when the first creeping dawn of a new civilization began? This is how Homer described it. Out of a wine, a dark sea. You will see that the land surface is rocky, and though the climate here is temperate, it's only here, on the southern, more sheltered corners, that the land was found to be fertile by the early Greeks, mainly limestone and of relatively recent origin. Well, now we move on from Lesbos.
I just nipped next door to the off-licence. I thought we deserved champagne cocktails to celebrate.
Oh, Jack, I don't know. I'm excited enough as it is. Are you sure? I mean, will your wife mind?
Edna, why should she?
Oh, she's your wife, and here am I, someone from your past.
No, old Eddie doesn't mind about things like that. Now, we have a very tolerant marriage. Well, I say marriage. It's not legal, but suits us.
You mean you never married?
Yeah, that's right. Oh, the nearest I got to that legal bit was the 5 days I was engaged to you, as a matter of fact.
Really? Oh. Well, if you're sure that Edna won't mind you giving me champagne, I'd love some.
Now, we have a very nice arrangement. Fluid. But committed, if you know what I mean.
Oh, I do. I mean, so modern, so right. I mean, why should marriage be the only acceptable formula for a happy relationship? There must be alternatives to marriage. Sometimes when I look at Cedric, I often think the same. But you're so original, of course. If I'd had your imagination, I'd never have married Cedric. Did it for the security, I suppose, but sometimes I say to myself, there must be alternatives to marriage. There must be.
I don't think the relationship I had with Edna would suit everyone, though.
Oh, it'd suit me, and I can see it suits her. She has the look of a very happy woman.
It's not all beer and skittles being married to me.
Yeah, but so stimulating, and it makes a woman feel so much more secure when she knows that her husband, well, her man, he's staying with her because he wants to, and not because he's bound to her by a certificate. Yes, I can see Edna has a wonderful life.
Yeah, but not all that stimulating, though. I mean, I don't talk to her much. I don't look at her much. Sometimes, when I'm working, I stay in the studio for days on end, never come out. She leaves me meals outside on a tray. No, I don't think I'm a very stimulating husband.
Yeah, but it must be so wonderful when you come out of your studio. You must have some marvellous reunions, and you never yawn.
I do when I'm tired.
Cedric has yawned night and day since I first met him. He yawns on an average of 36 times a day. I once counted his yawns over a period of a week and divided by 7.
Have another drink.
Jack, I can't tell you how thrilled, how flattered I feel that I'm the only girl you ever asked to marry. It makes me feel so proud.
Yeah, well, I was only a lad at the time.
Jack, I mean it. I've always been proud. I mean, every time I read your name in the paper, every time I go to some new exhibition of yours, every time I see that 8-foot-high statue of yours in the Tate, I've always been proud, but I know I'm the only fiancé you ever had. I'm even prouder. Jack, I must tell you, I must confess. I tell people.
Tell them what?
That I knew you when you were unknown and penniless.
Oh, that's all right, that's true.
Yeah, but if I get to know them really well, I tell them we were engaged.
That's true as well.
Yeah, but I never tell them it was only for 5 days.
Oh.
Do you mind?
I'm very flattered.
Can I go on saying it?
Yeah, of course. Happy days.
Happy days.
You know, I don't thank my old missus very often, but I do thank her tonight. I mean, without her, we might not have met for another 20 years.
Oh, well, we won't. No, we won't meet again.
We won't?
No, I could never be part of your life again. I've had my share, just that 6 weeks in 1953 when you were mad about me.
I was.
I never thought you'd make your mark, you know. That day you gave me that statue made out of bits of old wire. Do you remember?
No.
You did. It was your first term at art school, and you kept saying you didn't understand why all the students and staff kept on pinching your work. And I remember looking at this peculiar bit of old wire thing you'd made, and when I took it home, my mum said who'd want to pinch that, and I agreed with her and chucked it out next day. So I don't really deserve anything, do I? Except Cedric. I don't think I even deserve him, really. He's much too good for me. Have you really thought about me? Go on, tell me the truth.
Yeah, I've often thought about you. Wondered how you were getting on.
Yeah, but how could you think of me? Your life's been so full of excitement, so many famous people you've met, and I was never anything more than a youthful infatuation, a 5-day engagement. I mean, what is there about me to remember?
How could I forget my first rejection from a woman?
You mean when I gave you back your ring?
No, we both really knew it would never have worked. You knew it better than I did. True, I was madly in love with you for a couple of weeks. But you quite sensibly knew we had no future together. Anyway, you were mad about Brian Wilkinson, but he didn't fancy you, so you put my ring on your finger just to make him jealous.
That's true.
Yeah. Did it work?
No, he married Thelma Davenport.
I don't remember her.
Dark with a big mouth.
No, I never really minded you rejected me as a future husband. No, what really upset me was the night before in that air raid shelter in Scrubs Common. We were kissing, and I tried to put my hand on that knobbly bit of your suspender belt. And you leapt up and started to go home, and I said, why not? And you said, because I had dirty fingernails.
I remember the old air raid
Yeah,
shelter,
well, why should you remember me making a pass at you? It meant nothing to you. But for me, it was the first time, you see. I mean, I'd never done it before, never even tried to do it before.
I said no because you had dirty fingernails.
Yeah, and the next day at Hammersmith, you said there was no point in going to the Odeon with me because we had nothing in common. I'd cleaned me fingernails by then, of course, but it was too late.
Jack, I wasn't really that stupid, was I? I wasn't really that shallow, that superficial. Jack, I can't believe I was that stupid.
Oh, you were very sensible. And I haven't improved. My fingernails are no better now that I'm 44. They've become ingrained with stone and plaster dust over the past 20 years. No, I haven't got any better.
I didn't offer you a nail file.
If you had, I wouldn't have known what to do with it.
Interval for tea.
So you see it in its glory, the Lion Gate of Mycenae. Well, we covered a lot of ground, crossed many centuries. The Toreador fresco, the Tree of Life.
I believe I ever said no to you
Oh,
because of your
Miracle,
fingernails.
Palace of Crosses. One needs
possible.
time to take in all this grandeur. So I think that here we might appropriately take a pause for a little refreshment.
Oh, your husband does put it over so beautifully with Mrs. Well-Beloved. I was so carried away I forgot to put the milk in the cups. Still, the kettle's on. You've been having a nice chat about your days in Shepherd's Bush.
Yeah, very nice, very nice.
And champagne. Oh, you've been having quite a celebration. I hope you haven't been neglectful of your duties, Jack.
Oh, no.
He's been a useful assistant to you, has he, Mrs. Well-Beloved?
Oh, yes. Best I've ever had.
That's nice.
All these slides go back in the box, do they?
Yes, Jack. We have to set up the projector scene for the
Well,
next...
really wonderful, Mr. Well-Beloved. Just sheer delight. I felt completely transported.
Oh, very kind.
Now, I'm sure you must need a cup of tea as much as we do. You, ladies and gentlemen, you are all invited to tea and sandwiches with
And my yogurt.
Oh, yes. You are also invited to partake of Mrs. Sulgrave's very own yogurt.
Really? Is it her own culture?
It's her own goats.
Mrs. Southgate, might I be allowed to partake of some of your very own yogurt? It's something I've always wanted to make. We move about so much.
Really? Very simple. I must congratulate you, Mr. Well-Beloved, on a really fascinating lecture, and what a fascinating life you must lead.
Me?
Travelling round, seeing all those romantic places.
Oh, not really. It's just a job, you know. Yes, my grandfather used to make it when I was a boy, before it became fashionable.
Spoon, Mr. Well-Beloved?
Oh, yes. Thank you so much. Yes, my grandfather was brought up in Thessalonica. That's where yogurt first came from, you know. Oh, Mrs. Salgrave, it's delicious.
Really? Some people say it's rather an acquired taste.
Oh, yes, well, in my case, I acquired the taste some years ago. No, really, Mrs. Salgrave, it's really quite the most delicious yogurt I've tasted in years. Tell me, do you milk the goats yourself? Yeah.
Very nice lecture, yes.
I hope you enjoy the second half as much as you enjoy the first. Excuse me, we haven't met Cedric Wellbeloved.
Jack Salgrave.
Oh, yes, I know who you are. Yes. You forgive the intrusion, but I just had to say what an honour it was to meet you. My wife has often spoken of you, of course. You knew each other as teenagers, I believe.
Yeah.
I'm a devoted admirer of your work.
Well, that's very pleasant to hear, thank you.
I'm also a devoted admirer of your wife's yogurt. This is my second helping. But I went to your last exhibition 4 times. But I didn't buy anything, of course. The prices are far beyond me, but it's given me a great deal of pleasure, your work, over the years. Those 4 pieces in the Tate, I never pass them without popping in to see them. I do the Elizabeth Frink, the Degas, and then yours. Oh, forgive me, I'm embarrassing you.
No, not at all. It's always pleasing to know one's work gives pleasure.
We were in Paris last year, lecturing on the Norman castles of the Welsh March, and your exhibition there was the talk of the town. Then again in Brussels we were lecturing on, and saw that magnificent piece of yours outside the European Community Building.
Were you lecturing on Norman castles in Brussels?
You forgot the film.
Oh, really? Norma, what was I talking about in Brussels?
Neolithic remains in the Thames Valley.
I lecture on anything. But when I caught my first glimpse of your piece in Brussels, do you know, I actually felt proud to be British. First time in years.
It looks okay, does it?
I mean, you haven't seen it in position. The avenue of flowers leading up to it.
Well, naturally, I spent some time supervising the site, but I haven't seen the flowers. No, I didn't stay that long. I don't enjoy going abroad very much. No, not since some Spanish tummy I picked up doing a job in Barcelona. 3 months my Spanish tummy lasted.
And you've made your home here?
Yeah.
Can I tempt you to some more yogurt, Mr. Wellbeloved?
Oh, by George, I am doing well. You certainly may. Thank you so much. It's delicious. Oh, I'm so sorry. You're not a traveller then, Mr. Salgrave. Thank you.
No, I like their wine, but not their sun. No, I prefer to drink my Spanish Chablis under a cloudy northern sky.
Yes, I do see. But tell me...
And this yogurt's turned out all right this time.
Yeah, and when you come to the studio next week, be sure to bring this hat.
It's very old.
No, it's a wonderful hat. I'm going to do you again in terracotta.
I think he's got that look again. He did it last time in stone. She's the mother of Europe.
She is? She's the model for that spectacular piece in Brussels?
She sat for him for over 3 months.
But the mother of Europe has a neck 5 feet long.
That's how I saw her. Doesn't see things like us.
I do envy you living with all that creative energy.
Oh, he's all right. He lives in a different world. But he knows how to touch me.
Forgive my interrupting, but some of my members have last buses to catch. So if you could make your way back to the podium.
Oh, the last buses, of course. Yes. Mr. Salgrave, how much would one of your smallest pieces be?
Well, I have a man who sells them for me.
But £500 at least?
Well, sort of.
Yes, far beyond that. I hope you didn't mind.
Not at all. Thank you for your appreciation.
Mr. Salgrave, this is an awful intrusion, but if you could, during the second half of my lecture, if you could find time to pay my wife some foolishly romantic compliment. It would put her in a good mood for months and make my life so much easier. It would mean nothing to you, but it would make a hell of a difference to me. Now, I'm always a letdown to her, you see. But not if it's inconvenient, only if it suits you. Just a couple of words. How young she's looking, that's all I'm talking about. But only if it suits him. Don't put yourself out.
I'm really looking forward to this bit. I like moving film best of all. How long does it last?
About 35 minutes.
Very nice.
What now?
Well, he talks for 2 minutes, then we have the film. Look, could you tell me when he lifts his stick? That's my signal.
When Sir Arthur Evans... lights? When Sir Arthur Evans fell over a rock in Crete, little did he realise that he had been tripped up by a fragment of what proved to be one of the greatest discoveries ever made by an archaeologist. The Minoan civilization.
He's lifted his stick.
There's nothing to do now for half an hour, Jack. You don't have to stay if you don't want to, not now we finish the slide.
But what happens if the film breaks?
Well, it doesn't, not often. I'm surprised it doesn't, it's so old. Well, just one last cocktail. Never varies his lecture by a syllable, not a syllable. No imagination, same thing night after night. Not like you, bubbling over with invention.
I wouldn't have made such a good husband for you. Cedric's a gentleman. You always liked a bit of class, didn't you?
They had a sophisticated system of drainage, utilising the roof water for the latrines and other sanitary conveniences.
He always had big ideas, of course, but no ability. Romantic non-entity, really, like me. Well, I had the energy, perhaps, but I didn't have the vision. If I had, I'd have grabbed you when I got the chance.
I've got half an hour, haven't I?
Or a good half hour.
Think I'll get a game of darts in at the Wee Chief.
Yeah, well, if you don't need me then, Norma, I'll just pop out for a moment as well. Before I go, can I just say how pleased I am? What pleasure it gives me as a sculptor to look at your profile.
Really?
Yeah, you've always had a wonderful profile. Yeah, it's classical, it's timeless woman.
Oh, Jack, really? No, you're just saying that.
But would I lie? I'm a professional in these matters. No, to me, you are just as lovely as you were in 1953.
Oh, Jack, I'm not. Am I? You're just saying that. You're just saying that, aren't you?
No, I'm simply telling you what I see. No, you've always had a wonderful profile. Yeah, Raphael would have loved to paint you.
Oh, Jack. Raphael.
Yeah, well, don't worry. I'm not going to make a pass at you. One rejection is enough.
Oh, Jack. What pain have I inflicted on you? And you never forgiven me. Oh, Jack. Oh, dear.
What is it?
My knees are going. Must be the wine. Oh, Jack, they've gone. They've completely gone.
Norma.
Oh, Jack, what happened? Oh, yes, I know. Oh, you just said the most wonderful thing any man's ever said to me. Oh, Jack, I'm sorry I rejected you all those years ago.
Well, it doesn't matter now. Are you all right?
Oh, I'm not lovely. I never was.
No, I mean it, Norma. At 19, you were the most smashing bird I'd ever seen, and you're very lovely now. Yeah, you're very lovely. Look, I'll just pop over the road for a pint, then. You lie down and have a rest, eh?
Jack, Just these last few minutes together. Just 20 minutes in 20 years. A minute for every year. Oh, kiss me and tell me you forgive me.
Yeah, right.
Jack, what might have been? My life had taken a different course because I did the wrong thing in that air raid shelter. It's so easy to take a wrong turn in life. Oh, Jack, it's wonderful. Oh, Jack, yes. I know. I can tell you're going to forgive me now. Oh, Jack, yes. Do what you will with me. Oh, I say. Oh, fantastic.
Now, the stone seals you see here date from the Middle Minoan period, which began around 2000 BC, and were found on the surface in various parts of Crete and in some of the archaeological strata of the palace sites, notably Carnossus and Phaistos. And so as our Kaiki glides through the wine-dark waters of the Aegean, following the course taken by Odysseus so many years before, we say a last farewell to the distant islands. Thank you so much for your attention.
All right, am I? Haven't missed anything, have I? Haven't been needed.
Oh, no. Perfect timing. We've just finished.
Have that thumping judo lot been back for their kit?
Oh, I don't know.
Aye, they've been back. Terrible lot, these Japanese. They never clear up after them. No, this way out, ladies and gentlemen. This way.
My Jack disappearing like that. He might have stayed to help you clear out.
Well, there was really no need, Mrs. Salgrave.
But he's always been the same. One minute he's here, the next he's not. I've known him start work at 3 o'clock in the morning. Was he just as peculiar when you knew him?
Yeah, I could never understand him.
All set to cast off. Are you, Mr. Wilmot?
Yes, all set, Mrs. Digby.
Ah, jolly good. And where are you giving your next lecture?
Kettering.
Kidderminster.
Kidderminster.
Oh, Kidderminster. Jolly good. Your life's all go, isn't it? Well, I must get off home and feed my 5 cats. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Well-Beloved, and you too, Mrs. Well-Beloved, for giving our members such a memorable evening.
Well, they were a very appreciative audience.
Well, it's been such a pleasure having you. Good night, good night. Night, Emma!
Good night, Monica.
Well, I thought it went rather well this evening, after a rather shaky start.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, Cedric.
Oh, that's unimportant.
Have you got everything?
Yeah.
You don't want to leave anything behind like we did last week in Abu Dhabi.
Oh, I've got everything.
Where's the screen?
What's in the car?
We don't want another performance of what we had in Wakefield.
No, I've double-checked this time. It's all stowed away, ship-shape and Bristol fashion.
Oh, don't mention Bristol to me. That's where you fell off the stage, wasn't it? Still, I don't mind. You're a better bargain than I am. I'm glad I've got you.
Really?
Well, I'm all done now. Sorry my husband rushed off like that. Typical. He's very difficult to live with. Still, it was a lovely lecture. No, really, it was a lovely lecture.
Oh, you're very kind, Mrs. Salgrave.
Good night. I'll have to walk home. That swine's taking the car.
Well, it did go rather well, didn't it?
Yeah, I felt that.
Oh, we're dressing Kettering.
Kidderminster Watercolour
Yes,
Club.
Kidderminster. What are we giving them?
Frescoes of Florence.
Oh, Mr. Selgrave, they told me you'd gone home. I was disappointed. I wanted to say goodbye to you. It was a great honour for Norma and me to have you as our assistant. We shall dine out in it for years, won't we, dear?
Yeah, probably make a lecture out of it.
Why not? And Norma here's tickled pink.
Yeah, oh, do shut up.
Well, it does one good to see old flames again, doesn't it? It does me.
Yeah, well, I've enjoyed my evening very much. Look, I just nipped home. I thought you might like this, just for old time's sake.
Mr. Selgrave, you misunderstood me. I couldn't possibly
No, I
afford...
thought you might like it as a going-away present. And if you hate it, you can always flog it for a few bob, especially if I'm dead. Well, wonderful seeing you again, Norma. I hope your future is as adventurous as your past. And don't drop it on your foot. It's bronze. I better be going. Edna's waiting.
Jack, you can't do this. Jack!
It's worth more than our flat.
Looks it too.
An original Selgrave bronze as a gift. A gift. I say, we certainly have done well, haven't we?
We have it on the mantelpiece in the lounge.
No,
I can see it now.
I thought it would go better on the bookcase.
Look, the mantelpiece. Don't argue, Cedric. You know I've got a better taste than you have. I shall have it on my lap in the car.
I say.